We're going to get hour number 2 started with the head men's golf coach at the University of Alabama, Jay Seawell. This is a big week for golf with the Tour Championship over at Eastlake in nearby Atlanta. We'll get to that in a moment. First, we're going to talk about Coach Seawell and his program. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Gary. How are you today? Good morning.
Doing great. Good to have you on. Of course, folks, if you follow Alabama, you know that Coach Seawell's won a couple of national championships, has played for 2 more, has one of the finest programs in the country. But this past spring, Coach, and I hate to start on a bad note, but not a typical Alabama spring. A lot went into that. Injuries, of course, the biggest thing being Davis Riley, who between semesters decided that he would turn pro, which is certainly his right, but it left you a little bit short. And you had some good moments, but not what we've come to expect from the Alabama men's golf team. And now I know that you're. I talked to you at the luncheon last week for Alabama Fall Sports. You are bound and determined to get it back at the top and quickly.
Yeah, and it was a difficult semester, something we have never had to deal with. And there's a new world we live in where, our women's program had it too.
Sure did.
Where, they were number 1 in the country, and we were number 3. And then all of a sudden, we're very average programs. It's hard to recruit. Talent is talent. Anytime you lose your one, it's hard to bring ones along. I think Coach has said it. Saban has said it best. We don't grow. It doesn't grow on trees around here. But but I thought our guys did a good job in that. I could have done a better job. It's easy to look. We've gone backwards and looked and seen. The little missteps we did here. Our guys truly did the things that they needed to do. But unfortunately, we were just a little short on the talent side. But this year we're really excited about, getting back, starting back, and just kind of introducing our guys, our new players, back to just Alabama golf standards. How we do things day to day, be the best we can be at everything we do every day. And we're not going to reinvent the wheel. We're not going to try to do anything different. We're just going to do things the way we have been doing them, and just make sure we emphasize that. I think there were a couple of areas that I caught that we tolerated a little bit of it's easy to say you want to be great, but we tolerated some things in practices and maybe even my own leadership where we were tolerating things that weren't. And so we'll get back to that. We got great kids. We got talent. We're pretty young. This was going to be kind of our building year anyway. We don't have any seniors, but we got a head start for leadership and building a team last spring. And so I think we're ahead of the curve, starting the fall, and excited to see where this team wants to go and where it can go, and we start practice on Friday, so it'll be just around the corner.
Yeah, I know you're looking forward to it, and we don't have any doubt that you're going to get it back competing for championships in a very short time. You do that, as you said, through recruiting and talent, and that's the bottom line. I mean, that's where it starts, and then you mold it once you get here as a team. But it's a who's who that you've recruited since you've been in Tuscaloosa. And I mean, I just so many names, I can't even run them all down, but Wyatt and Shelton and Colley and Thomas and Mullinex and Riley. I mean, you've got guys on all the professional tours, and I would assume based on them coming through the program and the success they're having, that makes it even easier to recruit because of the track record that you've got of not just winning, but guys going on to the pro tours and having success.
Well, I do, yeah. The players that have come through here have created the standard, and created what Alabama golf is, to their credit. And so it is, when recruiting, we do point to what young guys have done when they came here, because all of them came with a dream, with a talent, but it may have been raw here or there, or undeveloped or untapped at the moment. And while they were here, they found a way to become, professional golfers. And so in that recruiting, yes, we point to all of the success stories, of the guys who've made it, to the tour, because that's what young guys are looking for. But the part I'm also proud is that makes what I say Alabama golf is we also point what they do in the classroom and when they were here, outside of golf. And that's what we challenge our players to be and to do. And so, yeah, the Justins and the Treys and the Michael Thompsons and the Davis Rileys, their records stand for themselves. And so young guys who are attracted to playing golf at the highest level are attracted to Alabama because of the players we've had.
Golf is such an individual sport, and certainly once guys turn professional, I mean, it's a grind. I mean, there are some team events, but for the most part, it's you against everybody else. And in college golf, certainly you're playing your match, but it is a team sport. And you played for the national championship, lost a heartbreaker to Texas in 2012. I think that was at Riviera, Coach?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah,
Riviera.
and then come back and win it in 13 and 14. You played for it again last year in 2018. But as a coach of a program, the ultimate to win a national championship, what was especially after you'd come so close in 2012, to come back and win it in 13, then do it again in 14. Tell us what that's like to work so hard to a goal. We saw it with football in 2008. They were so close, and then they came back and won it in 2009. To be right there at 2012, but you're not guaranteed anything, and to come back and win it back to back, what was that like?
Well, first, incredible. You always see these things in sports: teams that lose in a championship game, or the NFC or AFC championship, or the Super Bowl, or whatever. And in 2012, we tasted and got so close. We truly tasted what that is. Now, you always set goals, and you get in rooms, and you talk about being a champion and how you're going to do it, and doing the intangibles every day. But there's no experience in that. It is a dream, and it's there, and you go. In 2012, even though we lost, it was probably the greatest year of my coaching career, because we did all the right things and still just got slapped in the face right at the very end and to not to win the title. But it made our guys, it created something inside of our guys that, as a coach, I don't think you can create. I think it was an environment of seeing what it was, how bad it hurt, and what you have to do just to even get there. But that little intangible of not getting it, it created inside of all our guys, I don't want to feel this way ever again. So nobody took a rep off. Nobody took a minute off. Nobody took a day off. And if anybody did, there was an accountability to it because of that feeling. And so, we'll talk, Friday morning when we gather everybody and talk about goals and doing them. We still have two guys that played in that 2018 team. So it's not going to be just talk. There's going to be a real life. And so their leadership through the year will be very helpful to our young guys. But the year of 2013, especially after 12, the hurt, and those guys were so driven. It basically was my job to stay out of their way. They were so driven. They were not going to be denied. And then for them to go through the year successfully, I think we were the number 2 ranked team going into the national championship, and then to win it, that feeling is still unlike any other, because the hurt and the disappointment from 12 was so clear still. And for us to be able to redeem it so quickly was a special time for those guys.
Absolutely. As I stated, you've produced a lot of great players, but certainly at the top of the rung is Justin Thomas, a true superstar on the PGA Tour. I want you to share the story. I'm not going to say it was a fluke by any means, but it was kind of odd how you wound up recruiting him. I mean, he kind of sought you out, and I think you've told the story that nobody was there at the course at the time, and he jumped the fence, and he and his dad kind of took a look at the facility. I might be off a little bit, but tell the story about how you wound up at Alabama from Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah, well, we had word that he may be interested, so I went and watched him play down in Florida. He did not have my cell phone, and so he was calling my office phone. And so when he was finished with the tournament at Thanksgiving, so I went to South Carolina for Thanksgiving, and he and his father were driving from Florida all the way back through Alabama, and they were trying to call me over and over and over again to sit down and want to talk to me, and they were interested. We had not had any conversation, had not talked to them. We had just heard through the grapevine that they may be interested, and so they got up here and they got to Alabama at Thanksgiving, and our facility, of course, was locked and closed, and they couldn't get in. Old Colony, where our facility is located, was locked and closed for Thanksgiving Day, and so they parked outside the gate and jumped the fence, and I don't know how they wiggled their way around here, but they found their way around the facility and then walked around. Basically, he broke in. So I would say he broke a few laws. I should have had him arrested. I think I would have found a good lawyer to stop that one, by the way. I'm just kidding. I joke. So they did. They basically broke and entered into the Alabama golf facility, and they liked what they saw, and they found out my cell phone number hint in a few days after Thanksgiving, and we called, and we still laugh about it today. But they literally did break and enter into Alabama just to see the facility when he was 15 years old.
That's an awesome story. That's an awesome story. Obviously, he just oozes talent, and you helped develop him here. But I rattled off some numbers earlier. At 26 years of age, he's already got 10 tour wins, a major. I mean, that's the type of record that if you were 46, people would say you had a great career on tour. Now he is the number one seed at the tour championship. He's starting out at 10 under par. And for a lot of people felt like going into the BMW championship because he had not won it. It had been kind of an off year, me included, because I just expect the guy to win. And he won the right one because he's number one now at the tour championship. But I guess you couldn't write this script that somebody would come out on tour and be this good this soon. It's really amazing what he's accomplished.
It really is. We are truly amazed. We talked to some former guys about this, and they're like, man, that guy's already won 10 times. I mean, which is, we knew he was good. The guys know he's good. I mean, his record, he's been a winner everywhere he's been, but the tour is the tour. Now, you're talking the best of the best in the world, and to win a major before the age of 25, to win to win 10 times, win a World Golf Championship, win a FedEx already before he was 25, to do all of those things, you never foresee that. Did we think he could do it? Yes. To be number one in the world in the game of golf with Tiger Woods in the game, and Rory and Brooks Koepka and all those guys that play this game. I don't think we would have ever said that's what he's going to be. Not that we didn't think he was good. It's just, wow. I mean, that is phenomenal. When you start becoming a generational player and a guy that people are going to talk about, 30 years from now as a generational player, we didn't see that, of course. But I think we saw the fruits of it. The part I've always said about Justin, that guy plays to win. He's not real worried about money. He's got plenty of it, but he never played for money. He never thought that he only equipped a good day if he won or lost.
Right.
If he won, and so he's hungry. That means he's driven in his preparation and his process and how he keeps his mind, maybe in off weeks also. And just like you, he thought he was having an average year because he hadn't won. He's very, he's not, unrealistic that, I should win all the time or whatever. Golf's a very hard game, so I know he appreciates winning, but he's driven by winning. And that's why his dad has that big old golf thing up there. And I love how he was raised that way, not by his dad, but they played in little tournaments. I think he learned at an early age how to win, which I think is the hardest thing to learn. We just talked about the 2012-13, and that's who he is. And I think he's got a great chance this week. I mean, my goodness, only one other person's ever won 2 FedEx, and that's Tiger Woods. So you put your name up beside Tiger Woods in anything you do, that's a big deal.
Oh, it'd be incredible. All right, I got to ask you about the format. Just as a golf coach and a fan of the game, I'll be honest with you, Coach, I still don't get it. I mean, I understand, and I'm glad it's JT that's starting out 10 under. Believe me, two ahead of Cantlay and 3 ahead of Koepka. I'd rather be him than anybody else. And there are only 30 players in the field, and the last place guy's guaranteed $375,000. I get all that, and it did add excitement last week. I understand that, but I still just, if you have a football team, you can have home field advantage. You can have different built in, but they don't start if you're a 14-point favorite. They don't start you out 14-0. I don't get starting a guy out at 10 under par, and then the next guy's at 8 under, 7 under, all the way down to even par. You understand the sport better than me. Tell me why this is a good thing, because I'm not feeling it.
Well, I think the reason they've done it is, it's just like last year. I mean, it's probably one of the golden moments in all of college. I mean, of all of professional golf history, was Tiger winning at East Lake, and then a group or two in front of him. Justin Rose is tapping in.
Oh, yeah, it overshadowed Justin Rose. I understand that, yeah.
Well, Justin Rose was tapping in for 7th place finish, which was enough points to get him the FedEx Cup. And so now you're using mathematicians and logarithms and all. And us sports fans tend to be, would you shoot? Did you win or lose? And so I think the tour and their mindset was, what we're going to do is we're going to create a tournament in the end where the guy who's 14 under, 9 under, whatever it is, is not only the winner, how do you do that and pay the people who played good all year long? And so I think it'll be interesting to see how Joe Q Public takes it. I know the tour players at first were a little bit like whatever. A lot of media are more like you than not, the golf media for sure, but I think the players have actually kind of embraced it a little bit.
Okay.
Because if I listen properly, now I'm not in the back rooms with them. Are they laughing at it or what? But it at least puts them in a perspective where now you're still trying to win. It's kind of like college golf. We couldn't ever figure out 4 out of 5 scores, and so we went into match play, and then all of a sudden everybody understood it because it's head up and all. I think it's for clarity. We'll see if it is or not. I think haven't done it yet. I know that. My conversation with people is this is what I tell it is. It's basically Justin has played really well all year long, and so he gets Nick Saban's 10 strokes on the first hole that nobody wants to give him, if you know what I mean. So there you go. So it'll be interesting to see how I think at the end of the week, I think the players will be more vocal if they liked it or not. But you're right. I think the media itself, and the golf media especially, has very, very mixed on it. So we'll see if it sticks for another year or so. But I think the tour itself kind of likes what's going on with it.
Yeah, and you have helped clear it up. And like last year, I mean, poor Justin Rose is the FedEx Cup champion, and all the excitement's about Tiger. And even 2 years ago, when it looked like Justin might win, and Xander Schauffele beat him when Justin finished a shot back, and he was the tour champion. But you got one ceremony for the tour champion, one ceremony for the winner of the tournament, and even Justin, as you said, he likes to win. He had mixed feelings because he wanted to win the golf tournament. So from that standpoint, you're right. Whoever wins this week is going to be the tour champion. So yeah, I'll give it a go, and we'll
give
we'll
it a
see.
go. Give it a go. Let's see, because I like that it's winner take all. And I think it's $15 million now.
Yeah, it's $15 million. It was $10 million, I think, 2 years ago when Justin won. It's up to $15 million now. So
the players aren't going to complain too much. I promise you that.
No, I can't even. Can you even fathom if you win one? And like you said, I don't think any of them play for the money, but you win one golf tournament and you get handed, a check for $15 million. My gosh, I don't even know. I don't think most of us can fathom what that would be like.
No. I can't even fathom it. But
well, Coach, listen, I appreciate the time, and real quickly before I let you go, and I think I asked you this over this luncheon, but obviously most people as fans are focused on the spring season, but this fall season for you to do what you're talking about, getting your team back where you want to get it, this fall season's critical, isn't it?
It is. I think we need to get off to a good start. We need to get some confidence. I don't want to put more emphasis on anything, but internally, and as I've told you, I think for this team, the quicker we can get off, get our confidence, the better, because it is shattered a little bit from last year. And so our guys have worked really hard this summer. We've had great meetings, throughout the summer with phone calls and things like that, and they're ready. So it would be great. It was, ideal. There's some years we're not real worried about the fall. We'll just let it play itself out. But this fall, I think it's very critical that we kind of re-enter into the national picture, not because we want people to recognize us, but for our own internal confidence. And so we're going to start working hard starting Friday to get after it, so we're ready to get to the farm and try to get ourselves in a position to win, because I think our guys need that from a confidence point of view.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Gary.